Hello, everyone. Hello there. And welcome to Comics in Review, Wednesday Deep Dive with your man D Real in the building, live and alert on the north side of the dirt. So glad you could be here. Glad you showed up. Glad you're here. Glad you're here. I can't say that enough. I'm glad you're here. If this is your first time here, this is a live where I do actual live reviews on comic books that I have read, and just want to give you a little more insight because I'll do a review in the week, and then Wednesday we go deep into each of those books that I reviewed. I reviewed 4 books this past week. They are Magnus Jakuta, which is going to be an interesting one. Issue number 2. I also reviewed Thundarr the Barbarian, issue number 2. I'm looking at them as and and this one's going to be fun. All-Star Squadron, issue number 39. From all the way back in 1984. And of course, another oldie but goodie, Blood Syndicate, number 4, by the incomparable Dwayne McDuffie and artwork by R. Vale Jones. Again, I am so glad that y'all are here. I'm so glad that y'all said, hey, I took some time out of my hump day. Does that require a pause now? Anyway, yeah. So I'm glad y'all took the time out today to come and sit and exchange thought processes over a sport or tea and a comic book or two. Probably ain't gonna take too long. Maybe an hour if I spend a full 15 minutes yammering about one book. Because some of them are deep, but they ain't 15 minutes deep. And let's just leave it at that. And it's not because the book isn't a good book per se. It's just one, I know for sure I'm bringing you in on the middle of a story. And in order to get the full perceive of the story, we would have to go back 1 or 2 issues. And I don't think I'm getting ready to start covering All-Star Squadron. Okay. And the others are just, Blood Syndicate's it's kind of OG, but not, since all the attention that's being paid now to Milestone and all things Milestone. So I guess you could say there's been a bit of a resurgence of a sort. But we're gonna get into it, y'all. We're gonna get into it. And hey, y'all look like y'all here for it. Grand Madam in the building. Hello, Queen. How you doing? I will try to give y'all as sophisticated and in-depth of a review as I can give for each book. Maybe it'll make you want to read it if you haven't read it. Or at the very least, go back out and check the review. Kamoyo in the building, and then a few more of y'all that ain't said hello yet. And that's all right. Catch up, mustard. Anyway, I'm going to go with this one first. I'm going to start one, and I'm going to end with one. So, yeah. Us. I'm going to start with one of us. I'm going to end with one of us. All right. Magnus Jakuta, issue number 2 by Frederick Wiles, Devin R. Scott, and Bruno Abdias. Shouts out to Edward Philip Bola and Ram Silva, who also are part of the creative team. If you missed the last issue, then you're going to have to catch up. Anyway, long story short, Magnus, everyday average Chicago teen, finds out he is the son of beings who may or may not be Orisha. Okay, they share a lot of names, but there are also beings that are not Orisha, but are superpower beings. So clearly there are levels, or at least that's what it appears to be. But Magnus is approached by a being from another world named Stamos, and Stamos has come to let him know about his potential, and that he ain't reached it yet. And the miscreants, Rays and Jinx, come to fight Stamos, and Stamos ends up bestowing power to Magnus, or rather awakening power in him. From what I can see, it looks like Magnus is going to kind of be invincible-ish, with a quasi-mystical feel to it, and some Afrofuturism thrown in for good measure. I like the use of color on that cover. But anyways, bottom line, Stamos dies, sets off an explosion that destroys like a huge entire city block. But somehow Magnus is unharmed. And this is where we are. A couple weeks after that engagement, Magnus is trying to pull his stuff together, and he is he's going out at night. He's jumping out of his window because he's having these dreams that he's being talked to by these beings that I'll let y'all look. Okay, they talking to him in his dreams. They telling him things like he ain't ready. His lack of confidence is crippling, and he, you know what I'm saying, and the feelings of dread that he exudes. So I'm thinking, like, demigod? Are we at least comfortable saying, you know, that he might be something like unto that? Also, I gotta give a shout out to the artwork of Bruno Abdias. He's got a picture here. It's a splash page, and Magnus is remembering the explosion, and the explosion is in his head. He's remembering the explosion, and the explosion is in his head. That is a beautiful visual metaphor, as it were. Anywho's, his mom catches up to him outside, and, you know, she's like, you know, I understand you having these, you know, whatever it is, it was meant to happen. And that's how his mom is. You know, the Orishas have blessed you, and you should walk in the blessing. That's mom, basically. And the next day, he's got to go downtown, and he meets with this guy named Aldridge Haynes. And he gives off a very Men in Black, Agents from the Matrix kind of vibe. That's Aldridge Haynes. He's kind of a combination of a detective and a reporter. You know, he's investigating and trying to figure things out. And, you know, he's showing Magnus this picture of him at ground zero of this explosion, and he don't look hurt at all. And he's like, you know, you was around, you saw the guy, what's going on? Were you related to him? You know, he shows some pictures of Stamos, and he's like, yeah, what's going on? Did you know him? Was he your daddy? Was he your uncle? Was he your grand? Who was he? Who's red? And he's like, man, ease up. I don't know why this dude ran up on me. And so Aldrich is like, all right, well, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to let you slide. And he gives him a card and tells him, if anything weird happened or you figure something out, you remember something, call me. Later on, he's watching the basketball game. He's watching the basketball game with his homegirl, Shantae. He has another blackout again. The Orishas are speaking to him, and it seems to be one Orisha in particular that's speaking to him and is telling him, you know what I'm saying, I want to give you this gift, but you got to accept it. And in order to accept it, you got to trust me. And he asks him, you know, do you trust me? And he's like, yeah, I trust you. And he's like, all right, you won't regret it at all. And then he wakes up, and Shantae's standing in front of him like, dude, what's going on with you? What's going on? What's going on? And he like, did I miss the basketball game? Like, yeah, you missed the basketball game. And she thinks it's the pressure from, you know, all of these government agencies that have been asking him questions and whatnot about the situation. Turns out, I don't know if Shantae's going to be his romantic interest, but I like Shantae. Shantae seems like a good influence on him. You know what I'm saying? I showed y'all a picture of Shantae. Here goes Shantae right there. Shantae look like she got a good head on her shoulders. But as they leave his house, guess what? He steps outside and the miscreants are out there waiting on him. That's Blythe, Jinx, and Atax. These guys. We haven't quite gotten a chance to see what Atax can do, but he looks like the tank of the crew. And in the back of the Magnus Jakuta books, they have like kind of a, here, I'll show it to you, where they give you kind of a handbook of the Marvel Universe type thing with each character. So yeah, so you can you kind of got an idea of what the power levels are as you're reading the book. So I'm like, shouts out to them for having the foresight, you know, because who are these powerful beings that are just up in comicdom or trying to, you know, become something in comicdom, but you ain't telling me, you know, what the upper or lower limits or what the particular ability, and they do that. So shouts out to Littles and R. Scott for doing that. Anyways, though, they tell him he needs to come with them because if we remember from the first issue, they have been dispatched to get him specifically. But he say, nah, I ain't gonna go. And Blythe tells him I could burn down this whole community if I wanted to. Now, you better act like you got some sense and come back here with us before we have to deal with you. And he knows, you know, Magnus knows I should be listening. I should, you know, if nothing else, to keep Shantae safe or whatever. He said, fuck that. Stole on Blythe. Cracked him. It even says crack. But now, look what you done did, Magnus. You done pissed off Blythe, and he about to burn down your neighborhood. Now, here's the thing I like about Magnus Jakuta. issue number 1 and 2. And I think I got it. Yeah, right here. And here go issue number 1. I don't know if y'all remember that. Issue number 1. Magnus Jakuta. Anyway, I like the way the story is playing out thus far. I like the fact that they ain't force feeding a whole lot of mythos to us. You know, I feel like the mythos of this character is happening in real time, if that makes sense. You know what I'm saying? Frederick Littles, Devin R. Scott, they seem to have woven a very intricate world, and we've only seen like a teaspoon of it. So I have issue 3 ordered and on the way, and when I get issue number 3, y'all will get issue number 3. But I think it's going to be a decent book, and if you can order it, you should. I ordered mine off of eBay, so you know they're good for ordering comics. And I get my comics faster when I order them than I do going to the store and getting them. And that's not a good look for you, LCS. You don't want us doing everything online. You want to save some of that customer interaction for, I don't know, customer interaction. But what I can still get at the LCS is that book right here, Thundarr the Barbarian. It was a creative way of showing an explosion in his head. Ronnie J is in here. What's up, Ronnie? Saying what up to Theo B, and Theo B is present. I kind of marinated on the miscreant's name for a little while. I was like, miscreants. But then I thought about the definition of the word miscreant. That means they work for somebody a lot more powerful. That being said, on to Thundarr the Barbarian. Like I told y'all in the video, Thundarr is having issues. He's having issues. But these issues are in his past. And the little run-in in the first issue with the groundlings and all of the different, groups of minions, it got Thundarr reminiscing about the days when he when he was a pit fighter in gladiator arena. And that's basically what he was. He was a pit fighter in a gladiator arena and a blithering alcoholic. And because wizards and sorcerers and super science is what ruled the day, if you were not a wizard or a sorcerer or had some kind of super science, then you was probably a nomad or a villager or somebody who worked for one of these powerful people. But let me get a picture first. There is this wizard who I have gotten an image of, and I need y'all to look at it. Now, just you tell me, am I did I call it on the head, or am I off? Am I tripping? Question. And it's not a rhetorical question. It's a question I actually want an answer for. Does that wizard look familiar? Allow me to take your memories back to 1980 when Thundarr the Barbarian first premiered. Do you hear it? Do you hear that music? Dun-dun, 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 dun-dun. The year is 1994. 1994. Ruby and Spears thought the world was going to end in 1994, or what? That was only like 14 years away. Anyway, the images is what I want you to think about. I'm going to throw an image out at you. That is an actual image of the opening credits to Thundarr the Barbarian. Look familiar? Jason, Aaron, you've done it again. You have managed to keep the canon going. I want to see how minuscule and petty he get. I'm digging shit out the opening sequence and putting it in the comic book. That's the kind of stuff somebody who gives a damn about what they're reading does. That's the kind, or writing. That's the kind of stuff that I'm gonna get into the minutia of Thundarr the Barbarian. I bet Jason Aaron even break down, and it has been explained before, but I bet Jason Aaron even break down and explain who the Lords of Light are. Gold star for anybody who knows who the Lords of Light are from Thundarr the Barbarian lore. Anyways, though, this is what Thundarr was doing back in the day. He chopping folks' heads off, and he ain't even had a sun sword yet. But he got a beard. Bruh. Cuber Ball is the name of the artist. Cuber Ball is the name of the artist. You can call him Q Ball if you want to. His name is spelled Kewber. Last name Baal. Ooh. Cuber Ball. Remember that name. Remember that art. Now, this wizard goes by the name of Sabian. Yeah. So now you have a name to put with this wizard. This wizard is the wizard who owned Thundarr. Now, guess what else is special about the wizard Sabian? Here, allow me to show you, man. At the end of this story, we're having a flashback. And in this flashback, the wizard Sabian is about to pit Ukla the Mock against the great Thundarr the Barbarian in gladiatorial combat. Now, he asks his daughter, and that's his daughter standing next to him, what she thinks about what's getting ready to go down. So, Ariel is the daughter of the wizard Sabian, who is in the opening sequence of the Thundarr the Barbarian cartoon. See how Jason Aaron took that mythos and dug into it, and rather than deconstructing it, taking it apart, destroying it, he took what was there and interlaced his shit into it. This is the mark of a good writer. I'm not here to disrupt what has come before me. I'm here to clarify it. I'm here to add clarity to it. And he does it in a unique and original way. Thundarr the Barbarian, the comic, is very, very good. If you are a fan of Thundarr the Barbarian, you will enjoy this. If you are a fan of Thundarr the Barbarian, you will enjoy this comic. You know, I always kind of looked at Thundarr the Barbarian as He-Man before He-Man. Maybe not as strong, but he was certainly giving off similar energy. But anyway, in this comic, between flashbacks, we find time to make it back to the present. And in the present, Thundarr is doing what Thundarr always does. Pulls out the Sun Sword and declares some shit. What I tell you. He pulled out the Sun Sword and declared some shit. Just like Thundarr used to do in the cartoon. I'm going to say some shit. I'm going to declare some shit. I'm going to say it really, really cool. But it's going to be on regardless, you know. But remember if you watched the video, I told you about the wizards, right? You remember when you remember when I told you about the wizards, right? You ain't you ain't forget about the wizards, did you? Nah, neither did I. And I think they are somewhere else. They are not where I put them. Or did I? I may have. Let me make sure. Pause and action station identification for the situation activation. Are you kidding me? Wow. Well, anyway, here, let's use this one. I told you about the wizards. Boom. All right. That one that looks like a dog or a wolf or whatever, his name is Infernus. I would have never knew that from the look of it. But then to the right of him, you got Argoth, Crom, Mindok, Gemini, and Strya, the only female one. And let me tell you, Strya is talking big trash. She talking big trash. I mean, and she even you can look at the way that she's. I look at her. She said, what are you saying? I don't speak dog. But they get interrupted, of course, by Thundarr. And of course, wizards have minions, and the minions get in the way. But if you're paying attention to that image, that device in front of them is a time portal. Yes, Thundarr, Ukla, and Ariel are thrust back in time. Thundarr landed on top of people's cars and shit. You know what I'm saying? So we're back in the past. But Mendoc came too. So they return at this moment. So they're in 1994. Runaway comet is getting ready to hurtle between the Earth and the Moon. Those are interesting ramifications. Okay, so this is what we got going on in issue number 2. Thundarr, Ukla, and Ariel have traveled back in time to 1994 when the Earth is about to end. And we got a flashback story going on where Thundarr and Ukla the Mock are about to fight. Now, I thought, correct me if I'm wrong, I always thought Ukla the Mock was way stronger than Thundarr the Barbarian. So, how, pray tell, is Thundarr the Barbarian getting ready to go toe-to-toe with Ukla the Mock? Yes, they do. They do. Cast in a Thundarr movie. Wow. Alan Ritchson. But then you would have to find somebody bigger than Alan Ritchson to play Ukla the Mock. That shouldn't be too hard to do. You found that big old dude that was towering over him on Reacher. So yeah, shouldn't be too hard. What's that? 2 books down, 2 to go, and we only 33 minutes in. So I guess I am sticking to my 15-minute maximum. Yay me. I'm so glad I'm able to do this. Now, I want to hit y'all with this one's complex. Now, I want you to see where I was mentally when I pulled this comic out. I have not seen this comic in like 40 plus years. Not laid eyes on this, until about a couple weeks ago. 40 plus years since I've seen this comic. All right. Now, as far as my DC stuff that I got like a whole lot of is like pre-crisis stuff. I got a lot of pre-crisis and then a lot of stuff right after crisis. So that, yeah, up to around, say, the return of Superman after Doomsday killed him. That's about where I kind of like slipped off with consistency. I still got like collected 1 or 2 DC titles, but anyway, the reason I'm getting at it in the 80s, it was all about getting more bang for your buck. And for me, that meant team books. So it was Justice League of America, Batman and the Outsiders, All-Star Squadron, Tales of the New Teen Titans, and Legion of Superheroes. Them was the 5 books in my mainly through the 80s that I rock with because I wanted to know what was going on, with it. And from there, I would decide, let me get that character and then that character. And then I collected, I guess DC bit Marvel because they had like kind of a official handbook of the Marvel universe, my official DC thing. Theirs was called Who's Who in the DC universe. And it wasn't as detailed as Marvel's was, but they were trying to kind of try to give you. Anyway, one of the books that I collected. Now, you wouldn't think there would be a lot of racial unsureness, but it seems like when a good writer or even a bad writer writes black characters, you can tell when they know what they're doing, and you can tell when it was like taboo. You know what I mean? I feel like Roy Thomas took some chances with this comic book, and we don't talk about it because, of course, it's All-Star Squadron. It's All-Star Squadron. Ain't nobody checking for All-Star Squadron no more. But this particular issue of All-Star Squadron features Amazing Man. But guess what? You don't see Amazing Man until damn near halfway through the comic. Now, I have to keep reminding myself, even though Amazing Man is front and center on that comic book cover, it ain't his comic. Okay, moving forward. When we jump into this book, the All-Star Squadron, they just walking into like a greasy spoon because they trying to find an address. Okay. That's how superheroes did it in 1942. But the heroes you see on this cover, and Our Man, minus Amazing Man. So you had Johnny Quick, Our Man, Liberty Bell, Firebrand, Robot Man. Well, Our Man's there in the back. Anyway, they walk into this diner and they're like, hey, we're trying to find where this meeting's going to be at, blah, blah. And it's a meeting where it's a bunch of racists getting together and they're trying to keep black families from moving into a housing project. 1942 was different. You trying to keep black folks from moving into a housing project? Well, you got to understand, in 1942, housing projects was new. They didn't start turning them over to us till like the late 50s, early 60s. Black folks living in projects. But anyway, they don't get no cooperation from these racists. And Firebrand finds a flyer that says, protect the white community, white men stand up, blah, some shit like that. And then they're like, where is this street at? Because it's got a location on the corner of Vernon and Normandy or something. But didn't nobody want to talk to him. And one of them got so bold as to grab Firebrand, the flaming woman grabbed Firebrand by her hair. Now, she could have just burnt this fool's hand up. But no, she's being a hero. Oh, I'm going to use some discretion. I'm going to let Robot Man grab it. And Robot Man does precisely that. Do you know this dude in the comic called Robot Man a end lover? Shit, I ain't got to lie. I bleeped it out in the video. I covered it up in the video, man, because I know, man, how mugs be on YouTube, you know, oh, you were spreading racial hatred or some bullshit like that. You know what I'm saying? Try to cancel a brother. But oh, it's in the front of the book. Bro, right here. Here you go. Matter of fact, called all of them. I'm doing real quick. Bam, bam. Bruh. This 1984. This comic book came out in 1984. Okay. And we got an evil metahuman who calls himself Real American. Really? Really? Bruh. This is literally what the cat wore. That's the Real American, bruh. And he got a whip. A whip with a hood. And basically he is wearing the Confederate flag. He is the Dixieland version of Captain America. And he used that whip, and somebody, you know, because he's standing around trying to stir up a crowd. Don't let them Negroes get into these projects, and we got to keep it American for Americans, and you know, that kind of hate rhetoric, basically. And the name of the projects that everybody was trying to move into was called the Sojourner Truth Projects. I got a confession. It was 1984. I just dug into Sojourner Truth. I mean, I knew who Sojourner Truth was, but I didn't dig into who Sojourner Truth was until this comic book. So that's why it had significance to me. It made me think about, oh, Sojourner Truth. Why would they name these after Sojourner Truth? Yeah, she was active. Sister was down. So the Real American is taking everybody, you know, got the crowd all stirred up and taking them down to the projects where Amazing Man and his family, him and his daddy, they moving in. We pay to get a unit over here in these projects, and Amazing Man is gonna make sure his daddy gets a place to stay. What good is it being a superhero if you can't use your superhero powers to help your people? And that's what Will Everett was doing. He was helping his peoples move into the projects. And so he got a moving van, and they got in a truck, and he rolling down the street, you know, to get to the project. Now, the All-Star Squadron runs up on the Real American while he's, you know, fanning the flames of hate. And they take off to go rouse some Negroes. Why they didn't jump them in? Oh, because they wasn't committing no crime. So basically what you get is the real American side versus the amazing man side. And rather than deal with the bigots, the all-star squadron places themselves in the middle. Neutral party. We ain't helping the black people. We ain't helping the white people. To me, that's a very... I'm not being evil, but I'm still being white. I'm not picking a side, but by not picking a side, I'm picking a side. So, the white people and the black people meet up, and somebody throw a brick and hit Will every daddy in the head. Don't you know Will Everett came up out the back of that moving van with already in his amazing man suit? Like I want to smoke from you crackers. Let's go. And one of them threw a brick at him. And oops, caught it. And we know what amazing man power is. You threw a brick at me, you know what? I becomes the brick. Oh, y'all throwing bricks? Me too. I'm going to throw some bricks too. These soup bone bricks. That's when the All-Star Squadron show up. Johnny Quick running real fast, catching all the bottles in the bricks. Our man picks up a telephone pole and spins it around to separate people. Firebrand makes firewalls. And that's what they doing. And now, when that happens, real American here decides, I'm going to jump up out the crowd and start smacking black people. I'm going to jump up out the crowd and just start smacking black people. And that's what Dixieland Captain America did, because they was getting to calm down, and he got his third right back up. And ends up actually kicking Amazing Man's ass. Even before he uses his powers, he's more skilled than Amazing Man. You know what I'm saying? And what happened? What happened? And black people, like they always do, instigate. Either instigating or telling somebody you better run. You gonna let him do that to you, man? Right, Thomas. Thank you. But now, after the real American defeats Amazing Man, that's when the all-stars decide to step in and say, it's not fighting. Everyone just calm down. Just calm down. And Amazing Man, like, F that. Nah, man, we gonna have to run that fade. Dude beat me up. I was turned into steel, and he made me turn back into flesh. I got to know what's up with that. Me and him we gotta go a couple rounds. And Johnny Quick like, no, you ain't gonna do that. And he like, Johnny Quick, man, F you. And crack Johnny Quick too. Like, Johnny Quick, you can get it too. I ain't even turn into nothing. And he knocked Johnny Quick down. And somebody threw a 2x4 and hit Will in the head. Next thing you know, he getting arrested by the police. Getting arrested by the police? What the hell for? Why you ain't arresting that dude with the fucking Ku Klux Klan hood on? And a whip. he's not part of the problem. You got a right. You got a right to assemble. Only people went to jail: Will Everett and his daddy. What they go to jail for? Inciting a riot. They incited a riot. They was on the black side of town. How they incite a riot? Ku Klux Klan America here came over to the black side of town with a gang of white people. Why am I crashing out? It's 1942. That's the answer to your question. All-Star Squadron takes place in 1942. If you wanted your 1940s fix, it was All-Star Squadron and Young All-Stars, or All-Star Squadron and Young All-Stars over at DC and Invaders at Marvel. That's your World War II fix. But bottom line, at the end of this book, at least for this issue, evil prevails. Systemic racism prevails. And while they taking Will off in cuffs, Real American gets on a podium and says, and I quote, "The victory is ours, my friend. We have kept our neighborhood pure, our daughters unsullied. And that's just the beginning. You tell them, Real American." Oh, but Liberty Bell sitting around talking about she thinks she's going to be sick. Heifer, you had a chance to not be sick. I don't want to hear that bug. Let me stop. Anyway, and we get this unique perspective of the two crowds. You know, before Will's daddy get took to jail, he tells the All-Star Squadron where they can go. But then they're standing there, and there's an image. One side, here, I just show you. One side is the black crowd, the other side is the white crowd. So, and then the last page is just Franklin Delano Roosevelt saying, "I'm more concerned about the war overseas than I am about racism here at home in my own country." And Green Lantern and Hawkman like, yeah, all right, talk to you later, FDR. Hey, you want to go to Detroit and handle this? Let's go. And Green Lantern and Hawkman are heading out to deal with that situation that the rest of the All-Star Squadron apparently is having a hard time dealing with. But that's this book. And that's what this book taught me. And this is the book, or one of the books, well, at least the comic book, that put me on the path to let me see, oh, so that's what it's about. Complexion for the connection? Oh, I'm going to be looking closely at everything I do, everything I see, everything that goes on, and I'm gonna be right there on it, hard. And just kind of how I lived my life. Final thoughts about that one. I mean, you don't see racism like that in comics hardly no more. I mean, well, you see racism in comics, but you don't see racism in comics. So yeah, if that was one of many that were eye openers. That was one of many that made me go, Roy Thomas was indeed him. Yeah. And yeah, if y'all want to see more All-Star Squadron, I mean, all the stories ain't gonna be like that. And I mean, and if I'm gonna be honest, it's a good run, but All-Star Squadron appeals to a certain demographic. Yeah. I've had Collective Soul in my head for the past week or two. Anyway. Last book of the night, y'all. Blood Syndicate, issue number 4. Okay? We ready to do this? All right. If you have been keeping up with my reviews on Blood Syndicate, you know we are on issue number 4. Issues come to pass. We've had challenges for leadership. We have had attacks by let's just call them who they were. It's System. All right. System is attacking because they had a lot of bang babies in like deep freeze and just in suspended animation because they were experimenting on bang babies. That is what happens in this book. Is there's experiment, and that's what really pisses the Blood Syndicate off more than anything else. They like, mother, you experimenting on us. Oh, F that ish, and we gonna burn this mother down. And that's at least that's the kind of energy I got from them when they pulled up, because they come busting into a hospital like, F y'all, we are here. I'll show you. They bust up in a hospital like, who gonna stop us? that's how they came with it. And like, what y'all gonna do to us? And anyway, Faye goes in, finds a way for Livewire and Brickhouse to bust their way in, and they go down into this tunnel, run into a little opposition. He gets juiced up, and they fall deeper and deeper into the levels. I mean, literally fall deeper and deeper into the levels until they stumble across some more of them soldiers that like the ones y'all saw, you know, when I was showing you the issue 3. Yeah, from issue 3. Now, they stumble across these bang babies being experimented on. They don't like that shit. They start beating the shit out of the doctors, beating up more of them guards, you know, and then the bottom line, they finally end up coming across Granny. That's what I call her, is Granny. And Granny's in charge of this particular faction of System, and she don't tolerate no F-ups. Because she blew noodles out the team leader's head for fucking up. That's what happened to you with Granny. Granny's like, we can't have that. Granny goodness ain't got nothing on crazy Granny over here. But bottom line, Blood Syndicate ends up fighting to a bunch of these cats. Until they confront Granny. And Granny basically talks to Brickhouse like, you know, you were, when you was here, because she like asking, you know, why'd y'all do this to me? And she like, oh, you talking like you mattered. That's literally what she said to her. You talk like it, you act as if you mattered. Damn. And they tell and Brickhouse want to just mash her into paste. You know what I'm saying? But everybody else is like, don't do it, don't do it, don't do it. And right then and there, she sets the place up to explode. Now the Blood Syndicate would have been dead right there if not for the efforts of their crack-powered teammate, Flashback, who can flash back in time and can flash people back in time with her. Hey, it's about to explode. Let's get out of here. You don't ask questions. You just do what Flashback said do, because there's a reason for it. That ends up blowing up the entire complex. This comic book is action-packed. You know what I'm saying? All the way through. It's not a whole lot of story. You know what I mean? They come in. It's the third issue of a 3-issue story arc. They hear, they coming with it. They like, man, we fed y'all. Y'all the reason the stuff that's going on Paris Island is going on. We want y'all out of here. Well, the complex exploded, caved in. Apparently, the lady granny that was there died in the explosion. So they go back to, doing what gangs do, smoking, drinking, hanging out, having latent homosexual moments. We'll talk about that later. But this is the moment right here. Again, I just can't believe, well, I can because I read it, how in your face Dwayne McDuffie and Ivan Velez was with the fact that Flashback smoked crack. Now, this is what you got to keep wrapping your brain around. This is not a gang. I mean, this is not a group of superheroes. This is not a super team. This is a gang. So they do gang shit. And I think that was what McDuffie and Velez were trying to normalize. That, dude, this is a gang that you're dealing with. So they're going to do things like smoke crack, rob people, and take their shit. We gang it. That's what gangs do. We do gang shit. And unfortunately, if you're around drugs, you get addicted to them, so on and so forth. Now, this is what's going on, and this is all I'm asking anybody to pay attention to. That's Faye hugging Tech 9 in that left panel. Now, later on, I believe he comes out as homosexual, and then we find out Masquerade is actually a woman and has been masquerading as a man all this time. But those are stories of the Blood Syndicate that we will find out about later on. But that's just kind of what immediately popped in my head when I saw that. And then, when it came out later, I'm like, oh, now that makes so much sense to me now. So after that moment, Tech 9 decides to go and take a piss, as you do most of the time when you're somewhere getting drunk like that. And then that happens. He just dissolves. The fuck? Is that a mystery for another day? Probably. But despite all of this, Wise Son tries to rally them, you know what I'm saying, and get them together, but they don't. Well, you know what? I'm not going to spoil it. I'm going to let you find out what's going on when we do Blood Syndicate issue number 5. Now, what did we cover today, y'all? Covered Magnus Jakuta. That is Frederick Littles and Devin R. Scott with Bruno Abdias art. Super duper thumbs up. I cannot wait till issue 3. Thundarr the Barbarian, Dynamite. Oh, by the way, Magnus Jakuta is on Wise Acre Comics. I believe they have a site. If you want to find out about more titles on the Wise Acre Comics line of comics, hit them up. Dynamite Comics, Thundarr the Barbarian, #2 by Jason Aaron and Cuber Ball. This one is definitely shaping up into something super duper special, and he is so following canon, and I am so thankful for it. Blood Syndicate #4, Ivan Velez Jr., Dwayne McDuffie, Arvell Jones, and James Fry. This book is all that too, and you will be seeing more of Blood Syndicate. Roy Thomas and Rick Holberg with Bill Collins on All-Star Squadron #39 from November of 1984. I probably will not be bringing you any more All-Star Squadron, but there will be a unique, different comic filling that slot. I am exceedingly thankful that y'all have seen fit to join me tonight. I enjoy y'all company. I enjoy sharing this information and knowledge with y'all. I enjoy edutaining. Make sure y'all pull up tomorrow night. Thursday night is I'm gonna have on my Kente, y'all. I just let you know in advance. I'm gonna have on my Kente, and I'm gonna be telling some folks some things. We're gonna say some nice things, but we're gonna say some not so nice things. And sometimes not so nice things need to be heard so that people understand. We understand the gravity of the situation, and we don't need you to spell it out for us. And we will spell it out in our own good time, damn it. But yeah, this has been Comics in Review, the Wednesday Deep Dive with your man D Real. I'll be coming at you next week with another one of them other ones. Y'all tune in Thursday and Friday for the vibe with me and Theo B. I am outro.